This is the 2024 Ram 2500. Is it the best 3/4 ton truck? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm in Hebert's Town and Country here in Shreveport, Louisiana to give you the information to answer that question. This is the Laramie trim level we're going to be taking a look at. It is a 4-wheel drive truck. And if you want to know more about this particular model, check out the link down in the description of the video. Get you here to Hebert's Town and Country, and you might be able to come in and buy this model or anything else they have here in inventory. So let's dig into this truck and see exactly what it has to offer. And you're already going to see the LED lighting that's going to help out after dark here with the side view mirrors. You'll also have the in-bed lighting a little bit higher up than what we see with some of the competitors. But still, I like how it's angled in the direction that it is. That's going to help light the back to the front of the bed, the rear to the front of the bed. Quite a bit going on there where that's concerned. And your towing mirrors that obviously have a multitude of functionality. You're going to have chrome mirror caps here. If you like chrome, there's a good bit of that on this truck. That seems to work well on a truck like this. Turn signal indicators built in to the power side view mirrors. You can see what's under the hood, which is obviously going to be a very, very good option for towing, whatever you may be doing. And one thing about this truck that really helps a lot is that the interior on the higher trim levels is not only high-end and high-tech, you also have a very comfortable and quiet ride quality going down the road, considering how large this truck is. And LED lighting will be found, well, basically everywhere you look. You're gonna have the LED reflector headlights and your fog lights, even though I did not turn those on down there. And when it comes time to help your friends who are driving around with their Fords and their GMCs and their Chevrolets, and you need to pull them out of the snow, the mud, the sand, wherever they're stuck, well, they're gonna see these big sturdy tow hooks right here. Now let me go back to one thing on these headlights real quick. That flickering effect that you see right there, I know a lot of people say, hey Tom, how do I make my lights do that? That's really cool. You have to look through the lens of my GoPro to make that happen. So other than that, no, it doesn't actually happen. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, you do have a decent amount of chrome here on the truck, but it seems to fit. The nice chrome on the grille here, a very aggressive look overall from front to back, top to bottom, everywhere you are looking. And for those of you who are saying, well, Tom, let's take a look at the remote. Here's what you have. And there are no changes for 2024 in any area with these trucks, but you can see what's here, including your remote start. Take care of that. That's a big feature that I know a lot of you want to know about. Under the hood is the very capable 6.7 liter Cummins Turbo Diesel. Makes 370 horsepower, a very strong 850 foot-pounds of torque, and it's mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. And here's something that is very impressive. The fuel tank size is 50 gallons. That's definitely a big fuel tank. So whatever you do, don't get down there close to E, because it is not going to be cheap to fill up. And earlier in the video, I mentioned this is a 4-wheel drive truck. Let's talk about our tire and wheel size setup here. 275 on the width. We're gonna have a 70 series sidewall wrapped around the 18-inch wheels. And when it comes to max towing capacity, when properly equipped, these trucks can tow 19,980 pounds. Quite a bit going on where that is concerned. And when it comes to your payload, you're looking at a max, again, when properly equipped, 3,140 pounds. A very impressive number. And one thing that you might look at back here, if you're not familiar with these Ram HD trucks, say, boy, it looks like it's going to be awfully hard to hop into the bed of the truck. You don't have the corner steps you do on the GMCs or the Chevrolets, and this tailgate doesn't have anything built in it to help with that either. Well, it'll help keep you into shape, but here's what we actually have. Something that makes it very easy to gain access to and from. Something a little different compared to some of the competitors. That is what we have. Not too hard to get out once you get your foot up here. It just kind of helps you to stay nice and flexible as far as everything goes, and then you can kind of just kick that back under the bumper. You do have a dampened power tailgate here. We'll open that up. You have the bed liner, something you would expect to see, several different tie-down points. I showed you the lighting inside earlier, and I can't quite reach right there, but you can see your power outlet as well. Okay, let's take our first look into the interior that, by the way, is very spacious, plenty of leg space. And one good thing here is that you don't have a super tall transmission tunnel. A little bit there, but whoever's sitting in that middle row seat won't be too terribly uncomfortable. But you can see that you do have seating for 3 people back here by the number of seat belts. And there are some interesting features here. Number one, let's take a look at the door panel. So, comfortable armrest. I put my arm up there. That does feel pretty comfortable to me. Contrast stitching. Going to have some nice materials throughout the upper and the lower door bins. But one thing that I really like here, that you won't see in other trucks, competitors, is what you have right here. The in-floor storage. And the cool thing is, I guess you could do a lot of different things. You're really a multitasker. You could put ice in here and keep drinks nice and cold. And when the water is melted or the ice has melted, let's see if I can do this one-handed. I don't know if I can. There we go. Well, look at that. You can actually take this section out. You can empty that out, get rid of the water once the ice is melted down. If you needed a little bit of extra space, I guess you could leave this section out. But that's what you have where that's concerned. One on each side. So quite a few nice little options where that goes. And then obviously you can raise the seats up. I don't know if I can do both sides from this side. Oh, there we go. A little bit of a workout for me there. Now you might look and say, well, there's not much going on there. Well, here's what you have. You actually can fold this out and it becomes a floor. So you have a little bit of extra space back here. Maybe you're driving around, it's starting to rain, you've got something that you could put in the bed, but it will also fit here into the interior. Here are your options for that kind of thing to keep things dry. And for those who say, Tom, show us what everything looks, well, basically maximized, everything put in place. Here you go. You can see what you have. The cup holders are even still accessible right here. That's kind of interesting. Now, if you're wondering how sturdy this is, one thing I didn't do earlier was put down both sections right here that hold things up. Basically the legs, there's probably a name for that Ram has, but we'll go with legs for now. Somebody will probably tell me in the comments what that is, so I'll know better in the future. But that's what you have. Very sturdy, very strong. It will hold a reasonable amount of weight. I'm not sure exactly how much that is, but it's good to know that you have that option, something you don't see with the competitors. And we'll use the handy dandy grab handle. That always makes it easy to hop into the back seat or the front seat of any of these kinds of trucks. Sitting pretty high off the ground, you're going to have the back seat storage pockets here and cup holders not only here on the rear of the center console, but also here within the armrest. And kudos to Ram because of the fact that these cup holders are always going to be usable, and so is the armrest. So in other words, instead of being in this area like they often are, somebody could have a drink in each cup holder right there and still have room for their arms to fit. So that's a nice thing to have, not something you see in every vehicle, whether it's a truck or a car, an SUV. And here on the rear of the center console, we have a few different options for connectivity, actually quite a few, as you can see, including the power outlet right there. Air conditioning vents also built in. So quite a bit going on back here, quite a bit of space, that's for sure, especially if you're sitting in these outboard seats. And this truck does have a 373 rear axle ratio. And for those of you who are saying, all right, Tom, I like what I see. Am I going to like the price? Well, you'll have to tell me what you think down in the comments. $86,590 is the sticker price. Let's see what else you get beyond what I have already shown you. Armrests, again, comfortable here in the front. Plenty of space with the upper and the lower door bins. Quite a bit down here, especially in this lower area. Have the nice materials throughout. And power seats for the driver and the passenger. Gonna have the Laramie logo right here, kind of hidden away right in this case. But heated and ventilated, that's always a good thing. And you'll have your upper and your lower glove boxes here. I don't ever find any gloves in here, but they're called glove boxes anyway. You even have a little bit of a light there, right here in this upper glove box. And once again, well, before we do that, let's take a look here. Also a little bit of space on the side for some additional storage. But once again, to make things easy to get in and out. Kind of pulling myself in there made it sound harder than it probably really is. But you have that grab handle right there. And quite a bit going on here as far as your cup holders go. The good thing is you can get those out of the way, and there's access to space here. You can actually reach underneath. There's even more space right there. Quite a bit going on here where this truck is concerned. A nice large center console here, doubling as an armrest. Going to have the Ram logo right there. Driver and passenger can use this for their arms to rest on if they so desire. And you can see what you have here. Now, don't worry, this isn't all of the space that's here. This is more of the upper area of the center console. However, you also have this space underneath. And so you actually have access to a lot of space, not only there, but even the space underneath the cup holder area, this little storage section here. If you're still carrying around change with you, you've got a change holder right there. And something else that we will not see in any other truck on the market. No competitor can boast of what they have right here. Basically what this is saying is that Ram drivers, owners are really smart people because of what's available for them to use in their work, depending on what they're doing. And your upper console, you're going to have the map lights and all that good stuff up there as far as your reading lights, whatever you want to call those, and some of the other buttons and switches. Now, one thing you won't find here that, in my personal opinion, is not a bad thing is the lack of a sunroof of any sort. Personally, if I get a vehicle, I prefer to not have a sunroof. Some of you do, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. We'll also find a 12-volt power outlet right here and a little bit of storage above the infotainment screen. And by the way, just as we had plentiful connectivity option in the rear seating area, we're going to have the same thing up here in the front. And what is the driver going to find? Well, I talked about having a lot of technology here earlier, and this truck definitely has plenty of it. One thing I didn't mention earlier is the fact that you have power folding side view mirrors. I may have mentioned that, but I sure didn't show it. You can also see your blind spot monitoring up there. A lot going on here, all the controls that you expect to find on something like this. I probably don't need to tell you too much about that. Here's the control for your headlights and turning on the other lights on the exterior of the truck, all that good stuff that we talked about earlier. We'll hop on inside here. We're going to close the door and take a look at the technology within the interior of the truck. I'm going to hit the push button start right here. 25 heavy duty logo shows up there just to remind you what you're driving here. A very nice but simplistic instrument cluster. It really seems to match very well what the truck is. It's not overly complicated. You still have those analog gauges. Now, it seems like people who buy trucks like this, these HD trucks, 2500s and 3500s, maybe prefer the analog gauges more. Just seems more truck-like. At least that's what I've been told by a few people. But you can see what you have there as far as that goes, and obviously easy to work your way through a lot of different information on the truck depending on what you want to know about. And there are several different bits of information here. And all I'm doing is just going through, arrowing through basically in this area. And let's see, I don't know if I can show you right here, but you do have the controls on the rear of the steering wheel here for managing the radio and volume and all that good stuff. And something else that a lot of people seem to ask about in these trucks is they really want a column shifter as opposed to something down here or a push button shifter, whether it's in this area or this area, which I know we don't really see that right now. We see it on some of the SUVs, full-size SUVs that are out there. But for those of you who are clamoring for a column shifter, well, there you go. And this truck does have trailer sway control and the trailer brake control as well. So a very nice thing. And really one of the best looking infotainment screens still in the industry. Ram was able to boast that they had the biggest for quite a long time. Still very nice looking, very modern. You have all of your options here to go to whatever you want to. You can go to your comfort area right there. I told you earlier about having the heated seats and the ventilated seats. We can turn that off. There's our ventilated seat. Don't really need that today. It's actually a little chilly here in Northwest Louisiana. And a heated steering wheel as well. So that's good. Something I actually could make use of today. A very nice look. And your apps, we want to go in and take a look at a couple of things here just to show you what's here. There's favorites and there is all. So there is a lot here. And if you're somebody who's maybe new to some of this technology and you're saying, oh, Tom, I don't know about that. I really like the truck and its capabilities, but I just don't need all of that technology. Once you learn it, I think you'll be glad you did and glad you have it. And it's not that difficult to deal with. So it's easy to learn, easy to use. That's a good thing. You can pair your smartphone. All that good stuff is here. Obviously, when we go into reverse, which I'm going to do right here, you can see the camera view right there, your rear view camera. So you do have some good features and options. With that, you're going to have your trajectory lines right here to help you out. Just makes things a little bit easier. And for those who may not know, I have had a few people in the last couple of years say, well, does that vehicle come with a backup camera? You won't find anything now, at least in the United States, that doesn't. That was supposed to be done by 2020. And down here you can see some of your one-touch controls as far as different things you can turn on and off. I don't probably need to tell you too much about that because I know you smart folks know exactly what's there. And by the way, pairing your smartphone is wireless. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is here, and the 9-speaker Alpine audio system with the subwoofer. Let's see if I can give you a quick sampling of what that sounds like. Okay, we'll try not to go too far on that. But that's one of those things that I know a lot of you like to know about. I wanted to make sure I cover it. All right, we're out on our test drive with this truck. And I tell you what, like I mentioned earlier in the video, for being such a large truck, it has a pretty comfortable ride quality to it. Not quite what you would expect with something like this that's so large, and it's really pretty quiet in here. Now, you're probably going to hear a little bit of rattling and some different things. There's a whole bunch of things in the back seat that I actually had moved out of the way earlier when we were taking a look into that area that you didn't see. So if you hear some extra noise, that is what you're going to be hearing. But overall, a really enjoyable truck to drive. Definitely easy to deal with. These nice large towing mirrors make it very easy to see. Everything's easily adjustable and easy to deal with as far as that goes. Just overall, an enjoyable truck to drive. In fact, the driver of that Jeep right there was so excited about seeing it that they had to get a real close-up look and couldn't wait a few more seconds for me to pass. Bet they didn't know they were on YouTube. If you know them, let them see this video. I just have to say something sarcastic about these wonderful Shreveport drivers. But overall, a really well-rounded truck in a lot of different ways. Good solid towing numbers, good payload numbers, and obviously multiple options where all of those things are concerned depending on what you have under the hood. And obviously you can make changes in trim level, and well, there's a lot of things here and there's a lot of things you can add. But I really have to say, the seats themselves, very comfortable, nice to have the heated and ventilated functions there. Something that I know right now, it's as strange as it is for me personally, the ventilated seats. Can't even think about that at the moment because it is actually somewhat cool here in Northwest Louisiana. But it won't be long and we'll probably be back to warmer temperatures. In fact, it looks like we're going to be in the 60s on Christmas Day. That's just not supposed to happen. I'm filming this video on December 21st, depending on when you're watching it, of 2023. Getting up and going, how about that? How about acceleration? Well, when you need to, yeah, this truck will get up and go with absolutely no problem. I'm not going to go too crazy with it, but when I needed to get up to speed earlier, the camera wasn't on yet, I had no problems doing that. Easy to do really anything you need to. So a great truck for somebody who may be working on the job site, maybe at the drag races. If you have a light that turns yellow, even with this big heavy truck, you can stop with no problems. I just decided to go ahead and check the brakes and see how that worked, but you could see that was no problem where that was concerned either. But whether you're racing or working or fishing or whatever it is, this truck will handle whatever you throw at it, that's for sure. A very well laid out interior, quite a few nice little storage spaces. We looked at the center console earlier. That helps out, kind of a multitasker of sorts. So I think there's a lot going on here. It'll be interesting to see what everybody says in the comments. So tell me what you think about this 2024 Ram 2500 Laramie. Is it the best 3/4 ton truck? Tell me what your thoughts are, and tell me why you answered the way that you did. If you plan to buy one of these trucks for 2024, tell me how you plan to spec it out. What engine are you going with? Exterior color, trim level? I'm curious to know. And if you currently own one of these models, tell me all about it. I always like to know what everybody's driving down in the comments section. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at Hebert's Town & Country for loaning me this truck for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for giving me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. If you haven't subscribed just yet to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel, please consider doing so you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.